Okay, good evening to all once again. So yesterday we started the Kubernetes topic. In that topic, we already know what is the importance of Kubernetes and what are the different terms which are we are knowing in the Kubernetes. Okay, what's architecture? So this topic is covered, and mostly we are in the Kubernetes is working with the services. Okay, in that we have already discussed four types of services. Like cluster IP. Okay. So cluster IP target port. Okay. Next, cluster IP node port, ingress, and load balancer. So four types will be there services. Okay. So in the services, in the last class we have already discussed about the cluster node port with an examples. So in the today's class, we will once again discuss about those services again. Yeah. These are the four services we discussed yesterday. So cluster IP. So cluster IP means the application which is accessed within the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, the service is not exposed to the outside of the cluster. That means it is not accessed with the internet. Okay, no other person from the internet is not able to access the application if you select the cluster IP as service. So whereas if you select the remaining three services, node port, load balancer, and ingress, so these three can be accessible from the internet. Okay, so node port means it is with the help of a single machine we are able to access the application. With the help of only single machine with a single IP. Okay, with the help of a single IP only we are able to access the application. So whereas ingress and load balancer, so both are same. Okay, ingress is nothing but we can call internal load balancer, and is also used for external load balancer also. So whereas this is load balancer, next one. So this load balancer is also called as external load balancer. Okay, so this load balancer is also called as external load balancer. Okay, this is also called as external load balancer. But configuring of external load balancer is costly. It is not a free service. That's why mostly in the real time preferring the internal ingress only. That is exposing this ingress to the outside of the cluster. So that is preferred in the real time. So already in the last class we discussed about node port. Okay. So with some examples also and some commands I have already given. Okay. So once again we will discuss about the node port. Better to install the Visual Studio so that you can know how to write the script easily. Here I have already some scripts, so deleting this. Okay, suppose if you first go to the plugins here, extensions here. Okay, there you can install Kubernetes plugins after installing of Kubernetes in your local. Okay, so here you can install the Kubernetes templates are there. Okay, so all related Kubernetes plugins you can install. Okay, then you can easily get the options to work with the Kubernetes. How to write the programs in the Kubernetes. So now here first select the language. Okay, this is only shortcut only. Okay, but in the real time, actually the programs will be already existing. Okay, so here you want to write the program, so write K8s. You can type the K8s. So this suggestions can be come only when you install the extensions. So without installing the extensions, you are not able to get these suggestions. So when you type K8s, you can see the deployment, endpoints, ingress. Okay. The next pods, you can create the service. Okay, like that you can create anything. Okay, so I want to create one deployment and I want to create one service. Therefore, first click on the deployment. So if you click on the deployment, you will get a lot of stuff will be there. Okay, a lot of stuff will come by default. Okay, so but for our this demo class, this much is not required. Okay, so here I'm deleting this part. So here volumes means you are adding any extra volumes, then you can add this parameter. So depending on the requirement only, you are adding these parameters. So volume mounts, everything. So here ports are required. So this option is required. Ports, and next config maps are not required. So this environment section is also not required. In the real time, in the environment section only we are passing the parameters. That means the details. Okay, the dependency details are given in the environment section. So the services depends on MongoDB, then you need to give the MongoDB details here. So likewise, the services depends on which parameters, you need to give all the details in the environment section. Okay. So next, readiness probe and liveness probe. So these two are generally used in the production environment. Okay. So the importance of liveness probe and readiness probe is, so it will give the status of the containers. Okay. So liveness probe, it will check the liveliness. That means if the container is healthy or not. Okay, if the container is healthy or not, it will give the information about the healthiness of container. And readiness probe means, so once you done the deployment, so if the pod is ready or not, the container is ready or not, okay, that will be enabled here. So here you can give the time. So based on that time only, so this will be get enabled. Okay, so this way you can also read from the description in internet also. You get a lot of stuff regarding this. In the interviews also they're asking these questions. And coming to the resources, so this service, whatever the service you are going to deploying, okay, those services should have the requirements. How much CPU is required, so how much memory is required. So this is a request and this is a limit. Maximum up to this much you can use, and this is a request we are placed. Okay, so next image. So image is compulsory. You need to give the image. Okay. So next containers. So this is only dummy one. So you can delete this one. And these rolling updates. So I already told you the main advantage of Kubernetes is we can do updates at the time of the service is running only. We can do the updates. No need to stop the service. Generally, if you want to do the updations, so you need to stop the service. But here, without stopping the service is running, you can do the updates. So rolling updates also possible. And the replicas, here you can use the replicas. Okay. So likewise, we are preparing the Helm chart. Okay. Likewise, we are preparing the Helm chart for deployment purpose. So here, why it is showing the error means, so the alignment is not proper, and you need to do the alignment. Before that, let me give the some label name. So here I'm taking the image from the my Docker Hub repo. Docker Hub. So I have two images are there. So course ready is there, course orange is there. So let us take here. I'm replacing this name with course. You can give the namespace. So the real time, it is very, very important to work with the namespace. So namespace means nothing but it is allocation of resources. Okay. For example, okay, I want to deploy, let us take 10 services are there. Okay, let us assume 5 services, 10 services are there. So out of 10 services, I want to deploy 2 services in one namespace. Okay, in one namespace. And remaining 4 services, I want to deploy in another namespace. And I want remaining 4 services, I want to deploy in another namespace. This is nothing but only separation. Okay, separation of resources. That's it. There is no much influence on the working of the influences, but this is only the separation. You can also call allocation of resources. Okay, allocation of resources. That's it. There is no. If you want to create, you can also create the namespace. So the command for creating the namespace is kubectl create ns. Okay. The command to create the namespace is kubectl create ns followed by any name you can give. Okay, you can give any name.
So sound.
Right. Okay, so this is the command used to create the namespace. Okay, you can use depending on the requirement. Okay, we can deploy the resources, but generally in the real time, the default name is default. Okay, the default namespace is default only. So if you want to create some other namespace, you can give any namespace. That is depending on the organization, the namespace will be already created. Okay, so in this way, we are creating the this uh, deployment file. Okay. So, but here I need to change this name in every place. Course. Okay. Let me write this name as course red. Okay. So, for the sake of this, I'm deleting all this. Right. So here I'm also writing course red. So remember, whatever the label you are writing, the same name you need to give. Okay. So here also course red. Here metadata means it is the details about the deployment. Okay, here label name is different. So label name and sector length, so these should match. These should match. Next, here also I'm giving the course hyphen red. Here also I'm giving the spec, I'm giving as course hyphen deployment. Okay, so we call course red deployment. So image. So you need to provide the image path. So how the image path will be? So first you should provide the tag. After that, you should provide the image name. Course hyphen red. Okay. Colon 1.0. Tag also should be given. Like next ports. So name. So whatever the port you can give, the name also ports have hyphen red. So this is the way of creating the so here I'm creating the deployment file course red dep dot YAML file. So it's already created and saving this. So now deployment is created, file is created. Next, I want to create the service file. So why it is showing the error? So let me check the formatter. So this is a correct format. It is given. So just do Control A and give Control V. Right. So ignore this error. It's not a problem. So next, I want to create a service. So for this, again, take a new file. Select the YAML. Now I want to create the service. Therefore, create a service. So these are default service file you are getting. Okay, but I want to delete this unnecessary text. Okay, so what it is showing, if you set the spec.type field to node port and you want to specific port number, you can specify a value in the spec ports in the node port field. Okay, so depending on the type of service, you need to provide the things. Okay, so here first API version is given, so find this service, so metadata, so my app. So here you can give the name as course-red. So namespace is default. Okay, so spec. So here the app name. So you must do the same name, and here the selector. So type. So spec dot type. So here it is asking if you are set the spec dot type. So spec dot type means, so this is a spec. In the spec we have a type. So what is the type? By default it is a cluster IP. Default it is a cluster IP. So I want to change it to node port. I want to change it to node port. So after that, so session affinity, that is not required. Okay, so this is also not required. So next, ports. Okay, you need to give the ports, whatever the name information we have given, the same name you need to give. So ports. Okay, and this you need to give the name. Next, port. Port as it is 80, and the target port is also 80. You need to give a node port. On which port you want to run this? Okay, so on which port you want to run this service? So I want to run this service on, so say 32,000 or say 31,999. I want to run this application on this 31,999. So here I'm changing the name as course -red-svc dot YAML. Now the service is created and deployment is also created. Okay. Now let us try to apply these files. Now for this I'm taking the this CMD and I'm moving to the desktop because the files are there in the desktop. Now if you see directory, so here course ready deployment is there and service. So for this, so kubectl apply or create. You can use any one of the command. Apply course red deployment. Click on enter. So it is so throwing some error. So got array expected map. So here in the itself. Let me check this. First, I need to select the type of language. This YAML. Here, I need to take Kubernetes deployment. Some assignment issue. 3, 4, 5, 6. Indentation issue. You can call that as indentation issue. Let us do one thing. I'm deleting this part. Environment section also not required. And up to this part is also not required. And resources also not required. And containers. So in this part, we have containers is there here. The name of containers is missed. That's why it is throwing the error. So this part is missed. So we need to do that on the spec. After spec, you need to do that. So here you need to pass. Now do just Control E. Go to the formatter again. Now just Control E. Control E. Okay. So let us format this. Now this is done. Now just apply this deployment. Okay, because this apply is not working, you have to apply create. It is already done. So deployment is configured. Why it is showing the error means first you need to do the create. So it's because this file is already not there. That's why it is giving this warning message. Okay, first you need to do the create message. Now similarly, create -f. Now do the service file course-svc, sorry, red svc has already existed. Let me check that kubectl get all. Let me delete everything. kubectl delete, just delete the service and delete the deployment. Now everything is deleted. Again kubectl get all. Yeah, now cls kubectl get all. So these are terminating, so no problem. Now again we will apply the file create -f. Okay, so course run deployment. So it is created. Now it is not throwing any warning because previously you are applied, you are doing the apply. That's why it is throwing the error. So now I'm giving the service. Yeah, service is created. Now kubectl get all. You want to see the pods? The command is kubectl get pods. You want to see the deployment? So kubectl get deployments. Okay, if you want to see the service, so you can write the service, that is also works, or svc, that is also work. Okay, so now we have given the service as service name is course-red and it is a node port. And the service is available on the port 31,999. Okay, so if you want to access a service in the local, so curl localhost followed by 31,999, followed by the context path red.html. So see, it is giving the message. If it is giving the message, so it is okay. So we want to check once again. So just after curl, put -capital I. So this will give the information of the this URL. That means you see here, it is working on the HTTP port and it is 200 message. So it is giving 200 message. 200 message means that is okay. Okay, it is not error. I already told you in the previous classes error codes. So 200, 200, 300 messages are not error codes. So 400 message you are getting, then that is a client side error. If you are getting the 500 messages, those are server side errors. Okay, so now the server and all the details it will give you. So now it is throwing the 200 message. Therefore, it is working fine. Therefore, if you check the same URL in the browser, so this is working fine. It is working fine. So in this way, we can work with the node port. Okay. So now if you want to do the cluster IP access, okay. So cluster IP, I want to access the same service by using cluster IP, not node port. Okay, then I want to use the cluster IP here. I want to, when you are using the cluster IP, there is no node port. Okay, because cluster IP means the service that is accessed only within the cluster. So it should not be exposed outside. Like the service is not available on the node. How you are checked here, right? You are checked here on your machine. Okay, your Windows machine having the IP with the name localhost, and it is service is available on the port 31,999. That is a node port. This is called as a node port. So on this machine, Windows machine, you are able to access this application. So whereas cluster IP means within the cluster only you are able to access the application. Okay. So now how it will be checked now? Now, there is no change in the deployment. It will be same as it is. Only service is changed. So for that, here I'm deleting the service. Once again, kubectl get all. Okay. So here I'm deleting the service. Kubectl delete. You can give this service. So currently it is node port. Now when you delete this service, there is no service now. Okay. Now again you need to apply the service. Okay, just apply the service. So kubectl create -f. Okay, so course -red svc. Now, if you check the service, so the service is now cluster IP. See, if you observe the cluster IP, there is no node port. There is no node port. There is a difference you need to observe here. If it is a node port, then you are able to see the node port here. Okay, so if you are using the cluster IP, then there is no node port here. So it is accessible within the cluster only. Within this cluster IP only, you are able to access. So out of this, you cannot able to access the this application. So without port, how you are accessing the application? It is not possible, right? So on this machine, you are not able to access the application. Okay. So if you want to access the application, you can do the method called port forwarding method. Okay, you can use the method called port forwarding method. You can use the method called port forwarding. So what is the meaning of port forwarding? Here, if you observe here, there is no node port to access the application. Therefore, I want to access this application, ports -red, this application I want to access. For that, what I'm doing, I'm just whatever the service which is there in the port 80, I'm just forwarding the same service to another port to access on the node port, to access on the particular IP, a particular port. Okay, for example, currently the service is available on 80 port. Now I want to access the application on some other port, say 9000. I want to access the same application on the port 9000. So for that, you can use the port forwarding method. So for that, the command is kubectl. So port forwarding. So what is the service name you need to give? Service name is course -red. You need to give this name. So here I'm directly giving kubectl port forward. Okay, followed by the service name course -red. I want to forward this service on to the port 80. Like this, you need to mention. Sorry, it is 80, 9000, right? So 9000 to 80. Like this, you need to give. Port -red. Service yes. You need to give the port forward like this. Service, you need to give like this. Now, we observe here forwarding from, so local host. So whatever the service on 80 now, it will be available on this port. So this is called as local host. So what is the IP of local host? It is 127.0.0.1. So 127.0.0.1 is the name of local host. So therefore, you can access the application now by using the local host :9000. Local host 9000. See. Yes, now it is available. Okay, now you are able to access the application on the 9000 port. Okay, whenever you close the connection, so here, whenever you are accessing the application within the cluster, you are getting this message handling the connection. Whenever you close the connection, okay, whenever you cut the connection, then you are no longer able to access the service. Okay, you are not able to access the service. So that is a difference between node port and this cluster IP. So on the node port, still you are able to access the application. So not here. Okay, you deleted that node port, right? So that's why you're not able to access the application. So however, so this is the way to work with the cluster IP. Okay, so next, very important, third one is ingress. Ingress, we can call ingress as load balancer. Ingress as load balancer. So what is the meaning of ingress? You know the meaning of load balancer, right? So load balancer means you can access the multiple services by using the load balancer. Okay, with the help of load balancer, you can access multiple services. The same task we can perform by using ingress controller. Okay, ingress Nginx controller. Okay, so this is with the help of this, we are able to access the multiple services. If you see the diagram, you can easily understand Nginx ingress controller. So you can read the documentation for better understanding purpose. We'll show one diagram. Nginx ingress controller. It's the installation guide. Nginx. So Nginx is nothing but it is a set of rules. Okay, Nginx load balancer is nothing but it is a set of rules. So if in the interviews if they ask what is meant by ingress, so you can like this, you can say like this. So ingress is nothing but a load balancer, which is so this is the diagram. Okay, so what is ingress? Okay, so ingress exposes HTTP and HTTPS routes from outside the cluster to services within the cluster. So whenever if any person client is accessing the application which is there in the pod, what happened? So this is the process it is following. So up to this part, it is in the cluster. Okay, so this ingress which is in the cluster. Okay, so for this, so ingress managed load balancer will be there. So whenever the client hit the service, want to access any service, first it will hit the load balancer. Okay, so this is called as, this part is called as Nginx ingress controller. This part is called as Nginx ingress controller. It is a controller. So here two terms you need to remember. One is Nginx ingress controller, that is this part, and second part is ingress. Second part is ingress. So what is the responsibilities of ingress as well as ingress Nginx controller? So here ingress is responsible for routing the traffic to the services. Okay, to the services. So here we are writing the routing rule. Routing rule means whenever if you request, for example, if you're accessing an application, say hello world. Okay, so in the hello world, let us take two versions will be there: hello world 1 and hello world 2. Hello world.info. You can take hello world.info. Okay, so you are giving these rules. That means whenever the client hit the /v1 URL, therefore the traffic should be routed to this pod. So this pod having multiple containers, and in the containers this v1 service is running. Similarly, if any customer hitting the v2 context path, then the traffic should be routed to this pod. So this pod having multiple containers, and multiple containers will have the V2 based service. Okay, so these rules are given in the routing rule. Okay, these rules are given in the routing rule. And this entire thing in the ingress is completely controlled by this ingress nginx controller. Okay, ingress nginx controller, it will control the pods and the containers which are running the service. Okay, the name itself indicating it is a controller. Okay, it is a controller. So you need to remember the two terms. One is nginx ingress nginx controller, first term. Second one is nginx. Okay, sorry, second term is ingress. So the first term is responsible for routing the traffic. Okay, for routing the traffic to the appropriate service. And second one, it is also responsible for checking the status of pods. Checking the status of pods. If any pod is deleted, okay, if any pod is got deleted, automatically one more pod should come into the picture with the same service, having the same service. So that part is taken care by this ingress nginx controller. Whereas this ingress, it is the main part. It is responsible for it is responsible for creating the rules. Creating the rules. Okay, whenever the customer hit the proper request, so the first request it is going to the controller, and from this controller the request is going to the ingress. So from this diagram you can see clearly. And depending on the routing rule, okay, as per the context part requested by the customer, then that request will be routed to the particular traffic, particular service. Okay, so this is the theoretical explanation about ingress controller, ingress load balancer. Okay, if you want, you can read this document. Okay, you can get some more idea on this. But if you understand whatever I said, that is enough for interview perspective. Any doubts on this point? Otherwise, I'll start the demo session. Okay, fine. Now I'll start the demo session by using the using this ingress load balancer. So in the ingress load balancer, so generally this is the service type should be cluster IP. Okay, you must select the service type as cluster IP. So whenever you select the cluster IP, okay, so it is different from the node port. So only the cluster IP means within the cluster you are able to access the application. Whenever you select the node port, then within the node you can able to access the application. Okay, but remember the service type for the ingress should be cluster IP. Okay, so now here I am writing one more file called ingress. In the language as YAML. Okay, so create as ingress. So here you can see the description for ingress. So this is a default chart you are getting. Okay, so here you can give the service name, the context path, and host name you can give here. Okay, so here the metadata you can give the ingress name here. So it is course-red I'm giving. So namespace is default and host name. So what is the host name you want to give? So I want to give the host name as coursecolors.info. You can give any name here. I want to give the name as coursecolors.info, and the context path should be it is red.html. I'm the context path, right? So the same path I need to give. And service name. So what is the service name? So service name you already deployed. So in the course red here you already deployed the service name. So what is the service name? It is course-red. Course-red is the service name. The same name you can give here. Course-red. You can give the same name. That's it. So now you can pass this. You can write course. Okay, ingress. Now just go to here, kubectl, get all. I'm checking the deployment is there, course read, and service is there, and the service should be cluster ID. Now I want to apply the ingress now. So kubectl apply or create -f course ingress.yaml. So here ingress is created. But remember, so in my local, I already enabled the ingress. So if you want to enable the ingress, so here just go to the Google document. Okay, so enable ingress in Windows, Docker desktop. You can call Docker desktop. Okay, so here in the Kubernetes default page, here is an official website for Kubernetes. So here you can see for different environments, you can see so how to install the, how to enable the this Nginx load balancer, Nginx ingress controller, how you enable the in different environments. So since I'm using the Docker desktop, just click on the Docker desktop. So here in the Docker desktop, so Kubernetes is available in the Docker desktop for Windows from 18 up to this part. So click on here. So if you click on here, so it will give to another link. So Docker for Windows list. So here for Docker desktop, here you can see here. So that ingress controller can be installed on the Docker desktop using the default quick start instruction. So click on the quick start here. Now you can install the ingress controller in multiple ways. If you have the Helm in your local, okay, if you have the Helm command, Helm repository in your local, so then you can use the Helm. It is like a Git bash. It is like a Git bash, but it is a different tool. It is a repository. Helm is a repository. So if you don't have Helm, then how to install the this ingress means? So just execute this command. Okay, just execute this command. So copy and just paste in the command prompt. That's it. So automatically the Nginx will be installed. But here I tried with this. So this URL is not working. Whatever the URL is specified here, that URL is not working. It is not properly installing. So that's why I found one more link. Yeah, this is the link. This. Or anywhere I'll share the direct code. Okay, so I have already the URL in my local. I have copied that. So this is the URL. So with the help, I'll share this document to you. So you can install the Nginx ingress load balancer in your Windows machine. It's only for Windows machine. Okay, so like this, you can work with the. You can install the Nginx ingress controller. So this is the reference document. I already saved this document also. Here you can see the procedure, how to install the ingress controller. Here also you can see. Here install via Helm. You can install the Nginx via Helm. The Helm is not there, so you can use the install via CLI, command line interface. So just copy this and execute. So this will give this output. So the Nginx will install. So namespace created, service account created, config map created. So cluster roles, role bindings. So service created. So deployment is created. So everything is created. For this, by using this Nginx load balancer. Now then only we are able to work with the this Nginx load balancer in our local. So without this Nginx ingress, you cannot able to get the Nginx controller. Okay, so right now here I have created the ingress is created now. So to check the ingress, the command is kubectl get ingress. To see the pods, to see the deployment, to see the services, we are using the command as kubectl get all. So to see the ingress, so here I have configured the ingress. I have created the ingress. So to see this ingress, so kubectl get ingress. Click on enter. Now see, one ingress is created with the name course-red. The class name is none. So the host is colors course colors.info. So this is the website name, DNS name. We can call website name. This is a customized. This can be accessed only within the cluster, within this machine only. If you are trying the course colors.info in your website, in your local, in your machines, it is not working. Okay, because you are given the service as cluster IP. You are given the service as cluster IP. Therefore, this website, this DNS name can be worked only in my local, only working in my local. But if you try this, so curl is the command to check the this response of this application. So /red.html. So it is showing 404 error. Okay, because you need to map this course colors info into the host section. You need to map this file. You need to map this. You need to give the host information to the this machine. Because till now this machine won't understand what is this host name. So this machine has its host name has local host, right? So to the local host, you need to give this host name. You need to map the this host name with the local host. So that local host will be available in the folder. So go to the C drive in the Windows, in the system 32. Here you can see drivers. Yeah, in the drivers you can see etc. In the etc you have the host section. So this is the path. So you need to edit this host file, but you need to edit the host file with the administrator privileges only. Okay, we need to open this host section with the administrator privileges only. That's why I'm opening one notepad with administrator privileges. So notepad, right click, run as administrator. So open, because I want to go to the particular path. So currently I'm in the same path, etc. So just select this. Now you can able to see this one, host, maximize this. So here if you see at the bottom, so all this is the cluster information. I think already I have given. So course colors I have given. Okay, I have given the course colors. So what is the host name here? What is the host name I have given? So course colors.info. I have given the same thing. Course colors.info. Okay, let us try this once again. Okay, it is showing 404. Let me do one thing. I'll reinstall everything. kubectl delete ingress course-red. So ingress is deleted. Now I'm deleting the service as well as deployment. I want to reinstall once again. Now it is deleted. Now again I'm applying the same thing. kubectl create -f course -red deployment. Here next one is service, and next one I want to apply the ingress, course ingress. So I have applied all the three. So kubectl get all Now it is cluster IP, it is running. What is running? Everything is okay. Ingress. Now it is course -read. Okay. So in place of address, we need to see localhost. Okay. In place of address, we need to see localhost. So then only we can able to access the application. It is taking some time. So to get the address, because already we are mapped. Okay. Already we are mapped this host information in the /etc host section. So it will take some time to see the host name here. Course colors, check the spelling correct or not. Okay, let me do one thing. I have already this file. Okay, let me take this one and read the file. Here. So the difference between that one and this one is we are adding the annotations. That is the only difference. So annotations are very, very important for ingress. So without that, it won't recognize. So course -read, I'm giving the name. Here I'm giving the name as course colors.info. Now the path is red.html. Okay, the prefix here, the service name. I need to give the service name as course-red, and the port is 80. Now, once again, I'll reapply this kubectl. Once again, check. Yeah, it is not there still. So kubectl get ingress. Already it is the right. Okay, delete ingress. So ingress is deleted. Now again, I'm applying the ingress. Kubectl create -f course -ingress. So ingress is created. Now check the ingress. So let's wait for some time. So in the address section, you need to get the local host, because already this local host you are mapped to this course colors.info. It is taking some time to reflect here. Yeah, now you can see it is there, right? Local host. Why it is coming? Because already in the host section, you already mapped this. Okay, in the host section, you already mapped. So 127.0.0.1, that is called as local host. Okay, so it is called as local host. Now you want, in place of local host, I'm giving some domain name. This is my domain name. Okay, this is my domain name. I want to access the service with the domain name, not with the local host. Okay, I want to access the application with the domain name. That's why I mapped my domain to the localhost IP. That's why here I'm able to see the address as localhost. Now in place of localhost, now I can access the application with coursecolors.info. Now just use the color, use the curl command, coursecolors.info /red.html. Now see, you are able to access the application. But this application is only accessible local only. Okay, this application is accessible local, not in the browser. If you type here, so if you type here, so you are not able to access the application. Okay, it is getting no problem. I think okay, because in the internal it is coming, so in the browser also you are able to access this one. Because localhost you are named to this course colors.info red.html. Now I will do one more changes to this. Now I want to add one more context path. Okay, I want to add one more context path. So I have already one more image is there. I'm just deploying the taking that image also. So in place of red, I'm taking the orange also. I want to access the two services. The main advantage of Ingress is this one only. So we need to access the multiple services. If you have still some more services, just append here. So that's it. It is working. Okay. Now here I'm changing the name as course RO. Okay, course RO I'm changing here, and service name I need to change. Okay, course RO. Here also I'm giving the name as course RO. Now again you need to go to the service. Here also you need to add. You need to change the service name. Okay, so here also you need to change the service name to RO. Here the selector RO. Why RO means red orange. That's it. There is no other term here. Okay, so in the deployment section, so you need to add one more image. So already here red image is there, right? So you need to add one more image, because without taking the image, it won't work. So now in place of orange, in place of red, I'm taking the orange. Now this is orange container. Now here in place of red, I'm taking the orange. So here also the name is orange. Right? Now for this ports also we need to mention we have two services, right? Okay. Just go to this file. You can using this one host section file. Here I'll tell you the clear example. So this is the course orange YAML file. So this is a deployment section. In the deployment section, you are calling the image from my repo. Okay. So for this, the service is this one. For this, the service is this one. And for deployment for course red YAML, so this is the deployment file. And for this is the service file. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm just giving the same service file here. I'm just appending here. Here I'm just appending. So, but here, what is the service name? The first service name should be course red. Second service name is course orange. So, first service name is course red, and second service name is course orange. So, two services should be created. Two services should be created. That's why I'm giving the two names, two service names, and two ports given for each service. Okay, each name. And here I have given the ingress section also same thing. But here remember, whatever the name of service should match here. So here the name of the red, it is red only. Here the name of the service is orange. Okay, here the name of service for red.html is course-red. For orange.html it is course-orange. Now just deploy this. Save this. Save this. Now again I'm deleting the whole thing. Okay, so kubectl get all. I'm deleting everything. Kubectl delete. deleted. kubectl get ingress. So I'm deleting the ingress also. kubectl delete ingress post -red deleted. Now I want to create a fresh file. So kubectl, okay, so course name should be, it is already there, red only, because I did changes only in this file. Okay, kubectl create -f course -red is created. Only one, okay, one deployment is created. There is no deployment for orange. So you need to pass the orange deployment also. So here containers are two only. Okay, match level. Okay, let us check the pods, whether two pods are running or one pod is running. kubectl get pods. It is error, throwing the error. Okay, something. Okay, only red pod is taken. For orange pod, there is no proper data. So that's why here better to take here. I've already noted here. So you need to take the selector part. From the selector part, you need to take for course -red. So this is the deployment file. Okay, on the same, I'm taking the red. So this is a red deployment file. Okay, now I'm going to deploy this one. There's no changes here. Before that, I'm deleting this one. kubectl get all. Okay. ctl get all. kubectl delete. So see here only 0 by 1. So it is not running. So it is throwing the error crash loop back off. So in the real times, you need to identify the errors also. Okay, how to troubleshoot that? That is also very, very important. So kubectl delete deployment. So deleted. So CLS. Now I'm applying the file kubectl apply course -red deployment specify -f. Now see here, so two deployments are created. One is orange, other one is red. Now I want to apply the service also. kubectl apply -f course. The name is not changed. So service. Okay, here some issue with this file also. Let me do one thing. I am replacing this with the two services here itself. Similar to this. This is for orange service, and this is for red service. If you want, you can copy entirely in a single document also. That is also working fine. Okay. For just for understanding purpose, and deployment is separately showing, and service is separately showing, and ingress is separately showing. But if you want, you can mix all the files in the single file. Okay. So here I'm just renaming this file. Rename. Let me apply this again. So deployment is done. I'm applying the service. Now service is created. Now I want to apply the ingress. So kubectl apply -f course -ingress. So ingress is configured. Now let us check the all. So pod, you need to make sure that the pod should be running always. If the pod is running, then only service is running. Otherwise, if any error is there in the pod, no service is running. That is you keep in mind. So here the service is cluster IP I have provided. Okay, so deployment is okay, replica sets is okay. Now I want to check the ingress. It will get ingress. So ingress name is course-ro. So see here, the local host is already assigned here. Now, if you want to access the application, course colors dot info followed by red.html first. I can access multiple applications now. Okay, I can access multiple applications. So red.html is okay, orange.html is also okay. So both are working fine. Now, from here also I can able to access the application. So red is working and orange is also working. Is working. So in this way we can work with the ingress controller. Okay, if you want to see one more example with hello world, that is also we can see. Any doubts in this application? Any doubts? So this is one more example, hello world example. So this is ingress file for hello world, and so this is a deployment. So you can take the deployment from the. This is already available in the internet. Okay. So here first I'm creating the deployment CLS. First I'm creating the hello world app 1. So here deployment is 1 is done. I'm creating the deployment, second deployment. Okay, deployment is done. Next service I need to expose. Exposing the deployment is called service. So therefore this is the exposing of deployment. Exposing deployment is called as service. So therefore I'm exposing the hello 1. So service is created, and hello 2 service is created. So likewise in the command mode also we can pass. Okay, type is equal to cluster IP. Now I want to create the ingress. So see the same rules. Okay, same ingress file. There is no difference. But here, in place of course colors, I have given the host name as helloworld.info. Here you can give any name, not only this name. Okay, you can give any name. So DevOps classes.info. Like that also it is working. Any name you can give. So whatever the class, whatever the name you can give, that is also will work. Let us take the same name. So DevOps classes.info or .net, .com, whatever it may be, whatever you give, so that is working because it is working only internally. So if anybody try to access this URL, this is not working. Okay. Now here the context path is v1. Here the service name should be hello one. So already you have created the service name, right? Exposing of deployment is called service. So you already created the two services, hello one, hello two. Therefore you need to pass the same services, hello one, hello two. And you are accessing the application in the 8080 port. Therefore, just copy this. So go to this here, just paste here. So if you don't have this Visual Studio Code, no problem. Then you can just go to the desktop. Okay, create a text file. Okay, create a text file here. Hello world. Okay, ingress. Paste it. But here the file name should be AML. It's not a text file. Remember that. Yes. So now this is a YAML file. So there is no need to install the Visual Studio Code. This is only helpful to write the code. That's it. Already I show you, right? So when you type the K8s deployment, the default it is coming. The default deployment, the default information it is showing. So up to our requirement, we need to keep it. The rest we can delete. Okay. Now I want to expose the, I want to configure the ingress. So for that, kubectl create -f hello world ingress. So ingress is configured. Now just kubectl get ingress. You can see already it is there, but DevOps classes info, it is not showing the local host. So what you need to do? If you wait for hours, it is not showing the local host. What you need to do? You need to add this host name in the our local host file. Where is the local host file that is available? In the Windows System 32 drivers etc host file. There it is available. So to edit the host file, you need to log in, you need to take with the administrative privileges. So for that, taking this one host file, I'm going to edit here. After this, you can paste. After this, you can copy this, the URL, host name. Okay, so here you can paste. Here you can give the local host IP. Space. Now, after some time, after some seconds or some minutes, you are able to see local host now. So see here, something it is depends on the configuration. So it is giving the immediate response, local host. Now you can access the application with the DevOps classes. Don't need to access with the local host. Directly you can access with the URL, that is domain name. /v1. If you give the /v1, it is giving the hello world 1. If you give the /v2, it is giving the response hello world 2. The same thing you can access in the web browser also. So see here it is giving the hello world 2. It is giving the hello world 1. Right? So like this, we can work with the ingress load balancer. Same thing. And the last one is load balancer, fourth one. So where this load balancer is used means now with the help of internal, with the help of ingress load balancer, ingress Nginx load balancer, we are accessing the application in my local. Okay, in my local and in this browser. But if you want to access this application, this is not possible. Okay, you are not able to access this application. So therefore, you need to, if you want to access the application over the internet, so then you need to use the load balancer. Okay, you need to use the load balancer. If you want to use the application over the internet, that anybody can access the application. Anybody can access the application, then you need to give the service type as load balancer. But for doing that, so we need to do the domain mapping. But currently we don't have any domain mappings. Okay, we don't have any domain mappings. That's why this part I'm skipping. But remember, this load balancer should be when you are going for load balancer, whenever you want to access the application, whenever you want to access the application from the internet, anybody can access the application. In such case, you need to choose the option load balancer. But remember, so this is a costly one. This is a costly one. It is chargeable. It is not a free service. That's why with the help of ingress only, okay, with the help of ingress only, we are able to access the application over the internet. Okay, anybody can access the application within the internet by using ingress load balancer. Okay, but with this single node, it is not possible. The single node, it is not possible. In the real time, we are using with the AWS service CKS or Azure service AKS or POPs. When you install the cluster, then you can able to access the applications in the by using ingress load balancer. Right? Any doubts in this part? So this is a part of Kubernetes in the Windows section. Now, if doubts are clear, I'll move into the cloud. Any doubts in this section? So ingress is very, very important. Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir. Audible.
Okay, okay. So in the Linux machines, how we are installing the Kubernetes? Okay, in the Linux machines, how we are installing the Kubernetes? So I already told you in the last class. Okay, in the Windows machine, we are using the Docker desktop as a tool. In the Linux or Ubuntu machine, we are using the Minikube as a tool. Therefore, we need to install the Minikube in the Linux machine or Ubuntu machine, okay, to work with the Kubernetes. So I'm going with the Minikube in the Ubuntu machine because Ubuntu machine have less restrictions. So, but see the requirements. So you can write install Minikube, okay, on Ubuntu. So here there is a website called Minikube. So in that you can see the guidelines, and you need requirements also it is showing. So Minikube start. Okay, so it is 2 CPUs are required, 2 GB of RAM is required, 20 GB of free disk space is required, and internet connection is required, and Docker, any one of the virtual machine is required. So Docker is nothing but one of the virtual machine container tool. Therefore, you need to install the Docker. So these are compulsory to work with the Minikube. So these are the compulsory requirements, right? Now we will start the launch the machine, taking the free tier Ubuntu machine. But here in place of T2 micro, I'm taking T2 medium because 2 CPUs are required. Minimum 2 CPUs are required, that is available in the T2 medium only. The RAM is 4 GB RAM. The next one, the next one, next one. Here give the name, and give the name, and just write K8s Kubernetes. Configure, launch, take the Docker key as it is. So here in this document, we have the procedure also for installing the Minikube in the Linux machine. So you need to select the operating system as Linux, Ubuntu or Linux. We have the common, and architecture is 64-bit, and the rescale type is stable. And installer type, if you want to download the binary, so you can download the binary. If you want to download the package, then you can download the package. If it's Red Hat, okay, with Linux machine, you can take the RPM package. RPM means Red Hat Package Manager. Okay, for Red Hat machines, you can take the Red Hat package. For Ubuntu machines, you can take the Debian package. So if you want to download the binary for common, for both Linux as well as Ubuntu, you can download the binary. Okay, you can use these steps for installation of Minikube. So let me log in into the machine. So whatever the steps we performed in the Windows machine, the same steps we are going to perform in the Linux machine, Ubuntu machine. But the only difference is here the installation of Minikube you need to understand. Okay, here installation of Minikube you need to understand. The rest of the operation you can follow the same as it is from the Windows. This is a Ubuntu box. So just to be clear, first step is you need to update the repo. Sudo apt update. The first step in Ubuntu box, you need to update the repo. So here, this is the commands to install the Minikube. Okay, so from this website, you are downloading the package, Minikube package. You are downloading, and after downloading, what you are doing, you are installing the Minikube. Okay, after installing, you are moving the package into the bin folder. You know the importance of bin folder, right? Whenever you add any file which is in the bin folder, that is accessible at any place. Okay, if you add any tool, either Java, okay, or Maven, so you already experienced in that giving the these tools in the environment section variables for in Windows, right? Whenever you are giving the Java and Maven in the environment section variables, what it is giving, you can access the Java as well as Maven commands at anywhere in the system. So likewise, so here you need to give the these tool Minikube. You need to move the tool into the local bin path. You need to move this Minikube into the local bin. Then only you can able to access the Minikube anywhere in the cluster. Okay. Yeah, it is done. So before installing the Minikube, you need to install the Docker. So it's a prerequisite. Therefore, I'm installing the Docker. Sudo Docker. Okay, install. Sorry. The package manager is app. Install. So the Docker package is here. Docker.io. It's already told you in the last class. So give yes. So Docker is going to be installed. So the starting of Docker in Linux machine is quite difficult. It is very simple in Ubuntu machine. Whenever you install the Docker is default it is running. I'll show that part also. Yeah, so Docker is installed. If you see the service, sudo service Docker status. So Docker is running. So the Docker should run before to work with the Minikube. So once the Docker is running, so just go to the steps. Just copy here, just execute, paste here. So the two steps are completed. The first step is done. Now you need to start the cluster. Okay. So for that, the command. So before that, you need to install the kubectl command also, because for Kubernetes you are going to work with the kubectl command, right? So therefore, you need to install the kubectl command. So here you can see the kubectl option also there here. So kubectl command. So for kubectl Linux machine, Mac OS, Windows. So it is a Linux. So take kubectl. On this, I think kubectl install in Ubuntu. So what happened whenever you install the Minikube? So along with the Minikube, so kubectl also will come. Okay, if you want to work with the kubectl command, whenever you install the Minikube, so kubectl is also installed along with the Minikube, but the command should be different. So what is the command? So you need to use the Minikube space kubectl. Every time you need to use this command. So get pods. Okay, if you want to see the deployment, so Minikube, okay, kubectl get deployments. Likewise, you need to pass Minikube. You need to append Minikube for each and every command, but that is not looking good in the real time. So that's why we are preferring. We are separately installing the kubectl. We are separately installing the kubectl. Therefore, we can work with the kubectl directly. kubectl get ports. Like this we can use. So for that, okay, so here you can already the steps also there in the website. So directly you can use this. So latest release, install kubectl binary with the Kranza Linux. The same thing to Ubuntu also. So simply copy this line and execute it. Execute it. Now it is downloaded here. So kubectl downloaded. So now you need to give the executable permissions to this. Okay, you need to give the executable permission. So chmod. You need to give the executable permissions to the kubectl because without that it won't work. So kubectl execute permissions are given now. Now it is given. Now you need to move the file to the user local bin. Okay, you need to move the file into the user local bin. The steps are the same steps here I have given. So now I want to move this kubectl as a executable file in all places. So for that, I want to move this kubectl into the user local bin. So sudo move kubectl into user local bin. Now kubectl you can work at any place. Kubectl version. So it is showing the kubectl version. But here the server is refused. You need to get the server version also. Okay, why the server is not started means you need to start the Minikube. You did not start the Minikube, right? So you need to start the Minikube. So Minikube start. Here you can see the command. So Minikube start. So here you have done the first step as first you install the Docker. Okay, the steps here I'm writing. Anyway, I'll share the complete document. So first install the Docker. Second one, you need to install the Minikube. Third one, you need to install the kubectl. Okay, after that, you need to start the Minikube. Okay, like this you need to do. Okay, now let us start the Minikube. Start Minikube. So for this, you need to make the driver as none because we are not taking any virtual machine. Because currently already we are in the virtual machine only. We are not taking any additional virtual machine. Therefore, driver should be 0. Done. None. It's not done. It is none. Okay. What is showing? Exiting due to guest missing contract. So sorry, Kubernetes 1.2.23 requires contract to be installed in the roots path. Therefore, you need to install this package contract. Sudo apt install contract -y. So contract now is going to be installed. It is installed. Now you can start the service. Now the service is going to be started, but still it is showing one more permission. So got permission denied while trying to connect the Docker daemon. So socket at Unix. That means you need to, while connecting with this Docker socket, the permission is not there because this socket don't have the full permissions. Okay, this socket file did not have the full file permissions. Therefore, you need to give the full file permissions. Sudo chmod 777 to give the full permissions. Now again start the service. Now this time service will start. So remember, whenever the Kubernetes is started, okay, so kubectl get pods. First see the get ns. Get ns means namespace. So see here, by default, okay. So when you install the Kubernetes for the first time, so apart from this Nginx, apart from this, the rest of the 4 namespaces will be installed. Okay, this also asked in the interviews. So what are the namespaces you are going to see after installing of Kubernetes? So you are going to see 4 types of namespaces. One is default namespace. Second one is kube node leads. Third one is kube public. Another one is kube system. So this is Ingress Nginx you are installed separately. Okay, Ingress Nginx you are installed separately in the Windows. That's why the namespace is created. Okay, but when you install the Kubernetes for the first time, you are able to see these 4 namespaces. So this question is also asked in the interviews. Right. So Minikube is started. Now let's check the status. So Minikube status. So see, it is running. It is configured and running. Now you can start with the working. So kubectl get ns first. So see here. Here also you can able to see the namespaces. Whenever you start the Kubernetes, install the Kubernetes cluster. So the default and kube node is kube public, kube system. So these 4 namespaces are automatically created. So 60 seconds back. Okay. Now you can work with the kubectl command now. So kubectl get nodes. So see here. So this is the internal IP. So see here 172.31.7.2.1.6. The same IP. If you go to the instance also, you can see the private IP. So this is a private IP 31.7.2.1.6. So this is a public IP. Okay. So Minikube is running in the private IP. Now you can start working with the installation of services. So currently I want to install the same examples. Whatever I did here, I want to do the same examples. Okay, so first I want to perform node port example. Okay, I want to access the same application. So I'm taking the deployment sudo vi course ro dep yaml. So this is a deployment file I have given. There is no change here. Just pass here. Control WQ. Now I have created the deployment file. Next service file I need to create. So this is a service file, but here in place of cluster IP, I want to change with the node port. Course-r-svc.yaml. Here I want to change with the, so already I have given somewhere. I'm just copying them. So this is a service for okay. For service no. Yeah, here. The service file. But here it is a cluster IP, right? So I want to give the node port. I want to give the node port. So where, yeah, this is the node port. But here this is a different one. Let me take Yeah, I can change this. Okay, now here I'm editing this course file, sorry, service file, course 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 hyphen red SVC. So here course hyphen red, here the port's name should match with the same name as given in the node port is 30,001. You can change the name, you can change it. So let us take 30,200. So type is node port. So this is for service one. And next I want to copy the same thing and paste here for orange. Orange. Here also orange. Here also orange. Here I want to run this orange port on the same. Okay, node port, right? Okay, I want to give different one. 30,000. Okay, you can give on the same thing. Let us check. So WQ. Now, just apply the kubectl command. Kubectl create -f course -deployment. So deployment is created. Now service. Okay. Node port is already allocated, so we need to change the port. Here, let us take 300. Apply. Okay, let us check kubectl get all. So see, service is running, right? So service is running, pod is running. So service is the port we are decided as 30,300, 30,200. If you don't want to specify the port, just ignore that. So delete the node port name. Then it will automatically assign the random number. Okay. Now I want to access this application. Okay. I want to access this application in the local as well as in the browser also. So for that, the command is minikube minikube service. So give the service name. Okay, double hyphen URL. Sorry, you are given the deployment, not service. Service. This is service. What happened? Okay, some space issue. No. Minikube. Here it is in the command. Minikube service. Hello, Minikube. Minikube service. Minikube service. Okay, what is the service name? Service name is this one. So let us take orange. Yeah. So this is a service name. The service is installed in the default namespace, and the name of service is course orange -svc. So the target port is 80, and the URL is this one. So with this URL, you can able to access the application. Okay, so opening the service default course orange SVC in the default browser. So this is the URL. You can access the application. So let us try with this curl with this. So now you can get this one. -i. So see here it is showing 200. It is okay. Therefore the service is running. You can check the service here. This is the URL you need to take. But the service is not running here. The reason is you need to open the 30,300 port in the local security groups. Add rule, so 30,300, and I want to add one more, 30,300, 30,200. Save the rules. Now let us try to access this. So what is the context path? We have given red.html. The context path, orange or red. Need to check. So course orange is on 30,300. 30,300. We need to give one more 80 also need to pass. Turtle hyphen. Okay, this is the URL. You need to check kernel. kubectl gets all. Notepad, okay. Need to open the, I think open the security groups also. Okay, understood. Because this is a node port. Okay, you are able to access within the node. This is a node port, right? Here you need to take this URL. Here this is a private IP. So with the private IP, you are able to access application in the browser, in the command line. So if you want to access this, you need to change the URL here. Yes. With the help of public IP, you can able to access the application. So here the port is different. Here it is 200. Now you can able to access the applications by using node port. The difference here, you need to access the application in the local with the private IP, whereas on the browser with the public. But for our Windows machine, we don't have private and public IP. We have only one IP, that is localhost is there. That's why in local as well as on the browser, it is working with localhost only. But in the this cloud AWS instances, we have one public IP, one private IP is there. So locally it is working with the private IP, and in the browser it is working with the public IP. That is the difference you need to understand. Now I'll close the session by completing the ingress part also. Okay. kubectl, because already it is in the middle, so I cannot stop right now. So with that, this will be completed. Kubernetes topic will be completed. So kubectl get all. So I'm deleting all the things. kubectl delete because I want to create the service with cluster IP. That's why I'm deleting this one. So I have deleted this one. kubectl get all. You see only the Kubernetes cluster IP is only there. Now here what I need to change. So there is no change in the deployment file. The only change in the service file. I need to change the service file here. Okay, I'll do one thing. Just instead of changing things here, I'm just taking a copy of this. Course SVC. Okay, SVC1. Let us take the name as 1. Now let us edit this one. Course SVC1. Here I'm just deleting the node port related content. In the bottom also I'm deleting this one. The only change is this one only. Save it. Okay, and one more, I need to make this as cluster IP. Okay, where I have given a cluster IP, I think it is wrong. Sudo rm ports ro svc1 because you need to give the name. You need to mention the node port. The type should be given. I'm just deleting the node port term. Here I need to change the term as cluster IP. Cluster IP. And similarly at the ending, I'm deleting this. So if you want to get any custom port, that is a default, any random port, just keep the type as node port, just delete the node port. Then the node port will automatically assign randomly. Understood? That is the difference you need to do. So cluster IP. Let's save this. Now I want to apply the service as well as deployment. But before that, I want to enable the ingress. So in the Windows machine, I have given the path to install the ingress. Okay, in the Windows machine, I have given the some link to install the ingress. But in the Minikube, we need Minikube. This will be automatically enabled. Add-ons will be there. Ingress add-ons already inbuilt coming with the Minikube. Simply you need to add the add-ons. So Minikube add-ons enable ingress. So this is the command used to enable the ingress. Ingress add-ons already exist in the Minikube. So here in the website also you can check. Okay, here you can check the add-ons. Enable ingress in Minikube. Here you can check the command. So to enable the Nginx ingress control, run the following command. So Minikube add-ons enable ingress. Okay. Now after that, if you check the kubectl get ports in the ingress Nginx, -n stands for namespace. Okay. If you give the kubectl get ports, so then it will list out the ports which are there in the default namespace. Okay, if you deployed some services in any specific namespace and you want to see the resources in the particular namespace, you need to provide like this -m the followed by the namespace. Then it will list out the resources which are there in the following namespace. Okay, yeah. So ingress add-on is enabled now. Ingress is enabled. So if you want to check this, you can check this. The same outputs you can get. Same outputs you are able to see. Now, if you want to deploy a Hello World app, you can deploy it. Okay, so I'll show two examples. One is Hello World as well as okay. Let's do one thing, kubectl get all. Okay, I'm deleting this kubectl delete because I don't want to take the name web. Okay, I want to take my custom values, hello1, hello2. I already given, right? So these values I want to take the same thing, but in place of web I have taken hello1. Place of web only hello1 is there. That's it. Hello1 and hello2. Okay, next I want to create the service. Exposing of deployment is called service, but here I need to change the port to cluster IP because I'm using the ingress cluster IP hello1. So here again hello2 service is created. Now kubectl get all. You can see the deployment, you can see the service, and you can see the pods, those two are running. Okay, these are in the cluster IP. Now I want to access the applications by using ingress controller. So for that I need to write the ingress file, ingress hello world, ingress hello world dot yaml. So here I need to give the ingress path. Already I have given somewhere else. I've given here. Okay, we take from here ingress file port. Yeah. And for V2 also, yes, this is also there. I'm taking directly from this. Hope you know this about this one. The context path here /v1 for hello1 service, and for hello2 service the context path is /v2. So these are called the rules. Okay, so this is the ingress file and these are called as rules. If customer hitting the v1, okay, context path, then the service should be called, and the customer requesting the v2, then the corresponding service should be served. So likewise we can write the rules, the ingress. Right, now I'm going to apply the ingress. So ingress is created. So kubectl get ingress. Now you can see example ingress is created with the name DevOps classes.info. Here the address is not there. Okay. Similarly, how you write the this host name in the that host section, host file, how you are given the this host name in the host file. Similarly, in the Ubuntu machine also, in the cloud also, you need to map this domain name with the local host. So therefore, for that will be available in the etc hosts. Okay, after this local host is already assigned, just give and give this. Here in place of this local host, you need to pass the internal IP, because this is the IP, internal IP you want to access this application. Therefore, you need to pass this application. You need to pass this private IP. Okay, just now you have seen, right? So with the help of private IP, you are accessing the application locally, and with the help of public IP, you are accessing the application via the browser. So that's why here with this domain name, you need to give the private IP. Now you can see get ingress. Now see here, you are now able to see the local host. Now you can access the application DevOps classes.info. So curl DevOps classes.info with the service name v1. So see here, now you are able to access the application v2. Now you can access the same application on the browser. Let me try. See here, you're able to access the application with v1 and v2. So likewise, we can work with the ingress in Windows as well as in the Linux Ubuntu machine with the Minikube. And lastly, I'll tell one more example that will be ending the class. So that is course example. So here I'm taking the file course course depth YAML. So this is the course content. Same thing what I did in the this Windows machine, the same thing I have given. There is no change. Sudo vi course svc.yaml. Here I'm giving the service file. So this is a service file I'm giving the cluster IP only. Same thing, there is no change because for ingress you need to give the cluster IP. So whereas for this ingress you need to give. Okay, that's why I'm just copying this file ingress to ingress course because this file should be changed. Sudo vi ingress course. So here I need to change the domain name. I need to change the context paths. Okay. So for that, I have already created the ingress for course. The same thing you need to give. Not here. At the bottom, you have given for this. Yeah, this is the file. You need to give the same ingress file. Just delete this. So here I'm giving the name as coursecolors.info. If you want to change the name, you can change the name. It's not a problem. Okay, here if you want to change the name, whatever the name you are changing, the same name you are passing there. Okay, you can call a rainbow, whatever it may be. Okay, rainbow.info. So if rainbow.info context path is orange.html. Okay, context path is red.html. Now let us apply this kubectl create -f ingress course. Now ingress is created. If you want to see the ingress, the command is kubectl get ingress. Now see, when you try number of times, you are not able to see the address because this host name is not added to the host file. Therefore, you need to add the host name to the host file. Now just add the name rainbow.info followed by this IP. This IP should be mapped to this domain name. Now if you see, you can get the local host. Okay, it is already coming local host. Get ingress, that is there. Now if you want to access the application, curl Rambo I have given like this. Okay, no problem, any name it will work. Red.html. Okay. The name is correct. Okay, sudo vi slash, what is the name I have given here? Sudo vi ingress course. Okay, Rambo I have given course red, everything is okay. kubectl get all. Yeah, because why it is not working means there is no service, there is no deployment. That's why it is failed. You are just only applied the ingress, but you did not apply the deployment and service file. That's why it is failed. So kubectl apply create -f ingress, not ingress. It is, what is the name you are given? Course-dep, right? This is the name you are given. Now course orange and red created. Now if you access the application, kubectl get all. Okay. Now it is cluster IPs, the pods are running. Okay, service is there, deployment is there. Now if you see the kubectl get ingress, now it is okay. Now if you check the URL, check the service. followed by red.html. Okay, you need to reapply the ingress. It will work. kubectl delete ingress, or it will take some time to get work. Delete ingress. Ingress is deleted. Now you can apply the ingress again. kubectl create -f ingress codes. Okay, now get ingress. Okay, it is there. Now let us try to access the application rambo red.html. Maybe showing like this. No mistake. The sudo vi force -def. Okay, there is no issue here. Some naming issue here. Service is not 503 means service is temporarily unavailable. That is showing. Okay. Let us edit the host file. etc hosts rambo.info correctly mapped. Okay. Let us check once again. Curl is not found. Okay, let me do one thing. I'll create everything freshly. kubectl delete kubectl get all. kubectl delete deployment. Okay, service is not created. Have you observed this one? Okay, we have done the deployment, but there is no service. That is why it is failing. Okay, so we need to apply the service. I think, can we create the service? Yeah, course-svc is there, but we did not apply this one. kubectl create -f course svc. So you need to take care about the deployment as well as service. So now then only it will work. kubectl get all. Now deployment for course orange, course red, service for orange, course red, and pods course orange, course red is running. Now if you check the ingress, kubectl get ingress. Now you can check the URL. Now this time it will work. rambo.info/red.html. See, now it is working. There is no mistake, but we have forget to apply the URL. That is a service. Now, if you check the same thing on the browser, I think this will not working. This is not working on the browser. This is internally working. Okay, why? It's because you are given the cluster IP. Okay, you are given the cluster IP, therefore it is internally working. There is no external access for this application. Right? If you want external access, okay. So see here, I already told you in the previous class. So this rainbow.info is not available for internet. Over the internet, it is not accessing. If you want to access the application over internet, I need to go for load balancer. I need to go for the load balancer. That means I need to map this rambo.info to the DNS entry. Okay. That for that I need to go for the route 53 in the Amazon or GoDaddy. So with that domain naming services will be there. So for those services, you need to approach and you need to register this domain. Okay, you need to register this domain. That means you need to purchase this domain, and with that domain you can work. Now that domain with the context path, it is accessible to everyone. But currently, this is accessible only in the local. Only in the local it is accessible. Understood? So in this way, we are working with the Kubernetes. So this is about Kubernetes topic. Any doubts in the Kubernetes section? In the examples, you can ask me. So whatever the steps we are performing in the Windows, the same steps we are performing in the Linux machine also. But the only difference is you need to configure the Minikube in the Linux machine. That is, you need to take care. How to configure the Minikube? That is, you need to take care. Once the Minikube is nothing but a cluster. How you are using the Docker desktop in the Windows machine, same wise Minikube you are using in the Ubuntu box. Okay. Any doubts?